And after 2,000 years in development, Avengers, no subtitle. It's felt like ages since it was announced, and that Twitter account got really funny for a little while when it started seeming like the game was never going to come. But these things, they take time. On August Who Cares 2000, instantly dating this video, footage was finally released of the long-awaited game, and it looks pretty good. A lot of folks asked me to give my thoughts on it when the initial trailer was released, but there were about 3.8 seconds of gameplay on screen for that, and the rest was cutscenes. Not a lot to go on, really, but this gameplay showcase really went all out, and we got to see a little bit from everyone. So let's break down all the neat new stuff, and maybe along the way I'll inject some of my trademark wit and cynicism that people just keep coming back to, Fresh off the aftermath of the unmitigated disaster that was Ultimate Alliance 3 Write Your Angry Comments Now, the Avengers game is the next step in Marvel's quest to make sure they're the top brand in every art medium that exists until the end of time, with such big-budget blockbusters as Spider-Man, and, they're working on more. I'd like to first point out the notable similarity in gameplay to that new God of War game, and how me and my buddies Diego and Josh totally called that back in February with our special guest Turk Sandmeister. I bet that son of a bitch is making a video on this game right now as I type this. Oh boy, I hope I can edit this fast enough to beat him. Thor is throwing around and calling back his hammer just like the Frost Axe and parrying enemies, which we assumed would be specific to him. But every Avenger kind of fights like that. I had a fear early on that Iron Man's combat would be entirely flight-based and feel like some kind of flight sim mixed with a rail shooter. But it turns out that's only half of the Iron Man gameplay, and he can still hover around and punch dudes on the ground.
Fuck walking! Get ready for Plan Awesome!
I only hear Deadpool when he talks. It's very distracting. But hey, I think it's cool to finally have a game where you can do everything an iron can, since the last couple that tried that fell a little short. Black Widow is keeping with her usual theme of jumping onto the most dangerous flying object she can find and then somehow not falling off of it like any normal person would have.
Damn it, they played us. Damn it, they played us.
Does she look different? She looks different. Cap is the other God of War weapon.
And it exploded.
Hulk's gameplay isn't quite the ultimate destruction I was hoping for. Go watch those videos, by the way. But I do appreciate how powerful and heavy he looks in gameplay. Look at him, just climbing along on every semi-truck he can find as if it were a conveniently yellow-painted object in a Naughty Dog game. You can't tell me he didn't kill those guys. Him and Thor went on a massacre. And everyone thought Spidey was too lethal. Just wait till they edit X-Ray moves into this. Oh god, it's happening right now! I'm doing it! Please stop me! I like Taskmaster's design. They kind of split the difference between the classic look and the Udon design, which I prefer a lot more to the Deathstroke-y blech from that other game. But both of them are fantastic compared to this monochromatic Lord Zed SOB that'll permeate your eye orbs in the theaters worldwide next year. I was worried this game would have a lot of MCU influence to bog it down, and judging by Bruce Banner's wardrobe, that's kinda true. But hey, at least the story is original. The Avengers are defeated and lose some of their key members in a catastrophic event, causing a societal downfall and for many of them to fall into a state of depression for a few years, before coming back with an unorthodox way to undo the damage as a team. I know it was one of those blink and you'll miss it things, but I was most excited by seeing Abomination will be one of the game's boss fights. I do love seeing him and Hulk have some good old-fashioned Man of Steel fights, and it's been over a decade since there was a good one of those in a game. I'm not talking about that one. It feels like this is a long-awaited return to the medium for a lot of these characters, because Marvel seems so allergic to making any big gaming properties outside of Spidey for the last 9 years. Everything we've gotten are MMO games that imploded, Flanderization Simulator 2013, a myriad of mobile games that all look the same, insert mean comment here, and, you know, those LEGO games are pretty good. None of those quite felt like an event, though. It's so nice to finally have this big thing to look forward to for several months leading to release, only to forget it exists 10 months after it's come out. Oh, I gotta do those DLCs. I like the inclusion of Miss Marvel and the Terrigen Crystal thing presumably exploding, because now we can introduce a lot of the Inhumans characters. Remember them? They're those annoying things that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wouldn't shut up about for 3 seasons. And then there's this dead-on-arrival endeavor. I wouldn't mind them making the game a little more focused on those types of characters, since the MCU has left those relatively untouched in any way that matters. And it would be nice to see some of them adapted properly. Black Bolt, Lockjaw, and Medusa may not translate to live action well, on a TV budget, but the skybox is the limit when it comes to video games. I find it a little humbling that the graphics in this footage aren't exactly perfect. Some of the facial animation is a little off and the textures on hair and cloth could use some polish. But hey, I'd rather that than the demo be a big lie full of gloss the game won't have, so put those puddles in your pipe and smoke it, Ubisoft. There's a small glimpse at Avengers Tower after being revamped into an office for AIM. That's not Avengers Tower, that's not even the same AIM logo. So much for a shared universe, bitch. That's okay. If they get my buddy Yuri to voice Spidey, I can just ignore the inconsistencies and pretend it's the same timeline anyway.
I'm Spider-Cop, and I am the Bomb Squad.
Overall, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here for the gameplay and story, despite all the jabs and quips I've thrown at it. This looks like a wonderful addition to the ever-expanding library of playable superhero games, and I, for one, can't wait for Thanos to be in it, because of course he is. Learn from this brave soldier and be patient enough until we get more news to poke and prod at. And remember, watch my Dead Space cosplay video. That's all. Good night. Just a quick reminder before you go that I post my videos a day early on Patreon and give exclusive behind-the-scenes content and patron-exclusive videos. Please consider becoming a patron, it really helps me out. If you want a more short-term way to support the channel, you can check out my merch in the links in the description. We have t-shirts, phone cases, posters, mugs, pillows, baby onesies, and so much more. See you next time!